Movie review number 1449 is Him. Him is a 2025 movie directed by Justin Tipping. So this movie has Universal Pictures and Monkeypaw Productions, as the movie was also produced by Jordan Peele. I saw this movie on September 18th, 2025 at AMC West Chester 18 in West Chester, Ohio. So, this movie is about football. But maybe not in the way that you probably would expect it, as this movie is a football horror thriller movie. Interesting, right? Well, this movie is about Cameron Cade, who is a rising quarterback who suffers a potentially career-ending injury after being attacked by an unhinged fan. Just when all seems lost, Cam receives a lifeline when his hero, Isaiah White, offers to train him at an isolated compound. So when Cameron Cade was younger, he and his father used to watch Isaiah White on TV, and they both adored him. So when Cam receives a lifeline with Isaiah White, when he offers to train him at an isolated compound, Cam is definitely all for it. However, as the train accelerates, Isaiah's charisma turns into something darker, sending Cam down a disorienting rabbit hole that may cost him more than he ever bargained for. Now, when I was seeing the trailers, it was definitely about Cameron Cade learning football and trying to be the next quarterback, and wanting to train with Isaiah White, who is his hero. But then it turns into something darker, as Isaiah White's training methods may be a little more outreach than what Cameron Cade thought. And Isaiah White was a well, Isaiah White is still a quarterback, but he's on the verge of retirement. And Cameron Cade might be like his replacement. So he wants to teach Cameron Cade the stuff that he did, or he was taught. Of course, Cameron Cade did not expect the training that Isaiah White was going to give to him. From what I saw in the trailers, it looks like it leads to something darker and more horrifying. Even though Cameron Cade wants to be trained with Isaiah White, this is not what he signed up for. This isn't what he thought. Now I know that in football you can definitely get hurt, but what Isaiah White was doing, it was kind of meant to be like he actually wanted to hurt people, or something like that. And there's even a point where Cameron Cade wonders if this is too much for him, and he isn't sure whether he wants to go on with this. But he finds more sinister and darker themes throughout the movie that makes him wonder if he is willing to sacrifice everything to get to the top. But yeah, this was a pretty good movie in my opinion. Now, it has received mixed reviews from the box office and from audiences and critics. And I do think it is interesting that they made a football horror movie, because football can definitely be horrifying when people do get hurt. However, what Cameron Cade is being teach is definitely going a little too far, in my opinion. I will say the ending is definitely unexpected. But let's just say you might have some sort of idea based on some of the posters and the trailers alone, especially the last shot of the trailers. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting and good movie. So this movie has Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White. Tariq Rivers portrays Cameron or Cam Cade, while Austin Porian portrays a young Cameron Cade. Julia Fox portrays Elsie White, who is Isaiah's wife and a social media influencer. Tim Hideetko portrays Tom, who is Cam's manager. Don Benjamin portrays Cam Sr., who is Cam's father. Jim Jeffries portrays Marco, who is Isaiah's personal doctor. Naomi Grossman portrays Marjorie, who is a crazed fan of Isaiah. Maurice Green portrays Maureen, who is a trainer and a horn fanatic. Horned, right? Horns, as you see in the trailer. Norman Towns portrays Willis. Chase Garland portrays Sed. Group had that 4000 portrays Murph, who is Cam's cousin. Idrina G. Wilson portrays Yafet, who is Cam's mother. Tarira Rapp portrays Adrian, who is Cam's girlfriend. Gigi Anetta portrays Anne. Bryce Dillon portrays Bonas. Heather Lynn Harris portrays Jasmine. Ezra D. Gigo portrays Dr. Bowers. Jermaine Washington portrays Coach Chuck. Janone McHenry portrays Drew, while even Michael Airy portrays a young Drew. Adam Tedesco portrays Edward. Danelle Tedesco portrays Janena. Eddie Garcia portrays Randy. Moss Spino and Greg Ross portrays TV announcers. And Richard Whipple portrays the owner of the San Antonio Sabres. Wow. So yeah, this was a pretty interesting and good movie. But it is a little bit of a horror thrill movie, so just be aware. So that's my movie review of him, Precinct Truth, in this movie review. Alright, goodbye.